Hey, in today's episode, we're going to talk about going into business with your spouse or your adventure partner. Is that a good idea, or should you run for the hills? Coming right up.
Welcome to Be Adventure Partners, where we help couples escape the box that society has unjustly tried to keep us in. You're here to turn your idea into an awesome business online so you and the one that you love can start living a life that you are really excited about. I'm Erin Nicole Vick.
And I'm Brian Garcia. Welcome to another awesome episode. This one is either going to have you run into the hills or it's going to spice up your love life and make things a whole lot better because of what we're going to be covering today about should you go into business with the one that you are madly in love with, or should you cut the ties right now and throw up the deuces?
Whew.
Pretty rough, isn't it?
Pretty rough, but here's the thing. If you are thinking about getting into a business with the one that you love, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of components that come together to create an awesome, cohesive, loving relationship. And then you want to throw a business into the works. This is something that has really worked for us and set us on fire in our relationship, and we want to share that with you. And so today we're going to break it down for you so that you can really start to think about it. I want you to grab a piece of paper, the one that you love, and let's dive in.
Yeah. So when you're starting a business online, be it by yourself or especially with someone that you love, you've got to be clear about the roles that are going to be played, especially when you're going into business with someone else. So this could be with someone that you love. This could be your adventure partner. This could be your wife, your husband. This could be a boyfriend, a girlfriend. It could be with anybody. It could be with just a friend.
Yeah.
Number one is being very clear on the defined roles that you both play in the business, right?
Yeah, this is really important because if you're both coming into a business and you don't know whose role is what, things get a little bit cloudy. I know that when we started our business, I wasn't very good at anything technical. I had to work really hard to try to figure out the tech stuff. So Brian naturally kind of fit into the tech position. And for me, I like to write. I like to be like the correspondence gal and connecting with people. And Brian's good at that too. So what actually happened was in the beginning, we kind of initially took on roles that we were just good at. So write down the skills that you thrive at. Like, what do you actually want to be doing in your business? What do you see yourself doing? For me, I already knew that I love communicating with people. I love being on video, writing, doing anything creative. What did you like?
You know, I really enjoyed the kind of web aspect of it, doing digital imaging and adjusting photos to fit different containers and where they lived. And so by me coming into this, knowing what I was good at or still am good at, I'm able to harness the skills that I have and write out a defined role. I'm also one of those analytical types. I'm very systems oriented, and whenever I have a new task that I'm going to undertake, I like to write out a flow of what's going to happen, who does what, because you can break apart a project and either outsource little parts of it, or in our case, we delegate different parts to each other in the areas that we're really good at. So defining the role that you're going to play so that there's clarity is huge, because that's going to allow you to like keep that flame alive. It's going to allow you to be spontaneous and be able to enjoy each other throughout the day. And you're never left thinking to yourself, why is she not doing this thing? Because, you know, I've been doing all this. Or she's thinking, you know, why is this dude not pulling his weight around? Well, when you've got a defined role, the expectation of what should be done when by who
Mm-hmm.
doesn't need to be talked about
No.
because you already know who should do what. And that
Yeah.
leads us to being clear on expectations.
Yeah. So there's one thing to like, I don't know, just expect the other person's going to pull all the weight or do everything. But it's another thing to set expectations for yourself.
Yeah.
Something that Brian and I really like to do is have a daily powwow. This is really important for us. So, what we do is after we're done meditating and stuff, we like to take the time to journal, write down a list of things that we foresee like us needing to do as individuals in our business. And then when we're done writing down what we want to get done, then we have a powwow and say, okay, from your list and my list,
Mhm.
what's the most important? What do we want to attack first? Maybe we go separate ways in the morning and then, after lunch or something, we meet up and we'll record a whole bunch of videos in a row. We like to do that. That's actually a really good pro tip there. Record videos in bulk.
Batch things that you do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
because you're already set up for it.
totally. I'm just going to go off on a miniature tangent, but
You could do this for posts on any kind of social media. You could do this for scheduled emails. Passion.
Commitment. Committing to yourself and what it is that you're going to do helps to build upon that clear expectation. We always say that if you're going to go into business with any other human, be it your spouse, be it someone you love, be it a friend, be it an acquaintance, maybe you've got a business relationship with someone that you want to
Yeah.
start something with, have in writing the agreement of what your roles are,
Mhm.
what it is that you're contributing,
Mhm.
if there's a monetary aspect to it,
Yeah.
how much cash capital that you're contributing to the business, how much you're getting paid, when are you getting paid,
Mhm.
when does the company need to retain earnings? Like there's a
Mhm.
lot of things that you've got to think about, and that comes with having the powwow. That comes with
Yes.
being clear on the expectations and defining your roles. It
Mhm.
all leads to the agreement that you have so that you can continue being transparent and being completely clear with each other
Mhm.
about the direction of the business,
Yeah.
where you see the business going in the future. So having these powwows that you just talked about are
Mhm.
extremely, extremely powerful.
Oh, yeah. Really, really important to understand, what do I do? What does he do? What does she do? What does he do? Whatever it is, you want to really have an understanding of that. For us, this isn't business advice for you, but this is what worked for us. We got a joint venture agreement drawn up. Like, we know we love each other so much, but we knew that having a business, especially in two different countries, that it was absolutely a necessity
Mhm.
for us to drop an agreement, get the lawyers on each side of the border involved so that we could have a really solid plan for us that
Mhm.
if something happened, like what if one of us died or something? Like you don't want to think about it, but it's definitely something to think about when you get started. And it's not that hard. Literally, you're just going to go connect with some people who know what they're doing, tell them what you want, and voila, you've got an agreement.
Yeah. So when it comes to creating a business agreement, there's a couple ways that you can go about it. One of the ways, which is a free way,
Mhm.
is just write out in a Word document, type out what exactly the agreement is, how much you're going to get paid, just all those questions that we asked earlier, who's doing what, and have both of you have your names in there with your addresses and contact information, and both of you have a place that you can sign.
Yeah.
Print out 2 copies. That way, you both can sign if there's 2 of you, each of the copies, and you both retain one of the copies. So that's a free way of doing it. Sometimes that is held up if there was a legal battle that needed to go on.
Mhm.
That could be something that could be brought to light. Now, if you really want to do it the not necessarily right way, but the most secure way is having a business lawyer. And so in our case, having one on either side of the border, because there's like cross borders, considerations and stuff, they're going to know what to expect and what you need depending on where you live. I know that people here in the Be Adventure Partners exclusive tribe for entrepreneurs are from all over the globe. And
Mhm.
we're not lawyers, we're not tax professionals, which is why we hire those people to do that job. And signing an agreement is something that you definitely need to have done. Now,
Yep.
if you're by yourself in business, you don't necessarily need to create an agreement with yourself, except you do want to commit to yourself. So maybe writing one out and committing to yourself
Mhm.
is a great way to go. So make sure that you're both on board with what it is that you're going to be doing in your business. What is the mission of your business? More importantly, other than the mission of the business, is what impact are you going to make with your business? I love this quote, and I talk about this quote all the time from Sir Richard Branson. A business is an idea that makes people's lives better.
Yeah.
What is your business going to do to make people's lives better? When you are on board with the one you love, creating an awesome business or a business partner, or you're a solopreneur or whatever, you got to be on board with who you're going to help, right?
Yeah, that's right. So it all starts with the vision. It all comes back to the vision. Whenever you're working with someone, or even if you're working on your own, having a vision, a distinct pathway where goals are set and you're like, yeah, that's what we want to create together. That mission, that like, where's this thing going? You need to be able to answer that question for yourself, because when things get tough, and they will get tough, you will want to know where you're going, to always keep reminding yourself,
Mhm.
okay, that's the plan, that's the goal, that's exactly what we want to create, so that you can pull yourself up when you're in a mood or when things are kind of challenging. You can go look at that vision and just be like, okay, this is where we're going. Maybe we got a little off track, but you can always reassess and get back on that trail. And that's actually why we created the exclusive tribe for entrepreneurs, a community of people all over the world. So if you are flying solo, or whether you're doing it together, you can join us in the community where you can get your questions answered live every single week.
Yeah, so feel free to subscribe and be sure to hit that bell so that you get notified every single time we have a new video that comes out here in YouTube. And be sure to check out one of these videos over here, because those just might help you find that little thing, get that little piece of nugget of information to allow you to move forward, to allow you to become part of the tribe, to allow you to build more within yourself so that you can be of impact to others all around the globe.
So until next time, friends,
Adventure on.
adventure on.